Hello YouTube, welcome back to another Yas Heat Lap Guide. My name is Foch, and today we're taking the Lamborghini Huracan EVO2 around Donington. One of my favorite circuits. Absolute blast down the hill here in Sector 1. Super cool slalom. Pretty tricky to race here, but overall the track is super enjoyable. A lot of high-speed corners. And of course the last sector we have the tricky chicane and the double hairpin, which can be quite tricky to get through, especially with a Lambo with all that torque. Getting the power down on those exits can be quite tricky. Also, a lot of these corners are really tricky to get the power down as well. Luckily in the Lambo, short shifting to third and getting out of the corners that way works relatively well. And of course the chicane, very important corner, arguably the most important corner of the laps, because it's really easy to mess it up, and it's mostly where all the overtaking happens. If anybody has a bad exit from the chicane, there is a very good possibility of making a move into the first hairpin. As you can see, the Lambo really doesn't want to cooperate too well on these exits. Quite a lot of wheel spin. Also, if you're doing quali, always set your lap up by going the wide line here. Quite awkward for practicing last hairpin, I know, but you gain close to a 10th by doing this. So for turn 1, we're braking after the separator between the pit lane and the racetrack. Downshift to second, and then the slalom down the hill, obviously flat out in the dry. Want to line up on the left side and brake when the board on the right is roughly parallel to your car. A little bit late on the brakes there, but the tires aren't quite there yet. For this corner, we're braking just at the brake board. Can keep the car in third gear. And use the whole track, of course, on the exit. Here is a little smidge of rubber on the curb, which is a really good reference point to use as long as you don't have a lot of cars in front of you. But that's the one I'm using. So for a chicane, we're braking on the crest after the one board. Downshift to second, short shift to third. That's pretty messy chicane. As you can see, we're going to lose a lot of time to our hot lap on the exit here. Roughly car length after the one brake board is where we brake for the first hairpin. And unfortunately the second hairpin doesn't have a brake board, but we're braking once again. Rubbered mark on the white line is where you want to be braking. And once again, careful on the exit as the car really wants to kick out. So here's our setup. Little bit of negative toe, quite a bit of negative toe on the front, as is classic. So we're switching to engine map 1. Just getting that power down a bit more aggressively. Not sure if it is 100% the way to go, but seems to be working all right. There's definitely a little bit more time I left on the hot lap, but overall it's not too far off pace as it is. So for the mechanical stuff, very soft rear. Some springs on the front to stop the car from the violent bouncing that happens on the chicane. Damper wise, pretty soft, slow dampers, but very stiff, fast ones, once again, to stop the car from bouncing out of control. And aero wise, quite a lot of rake, max swing as always, and not really compromising any ride heights here, as it seems to not be necessary. So yeah, that is the setup. Seems to work all right. There's definitely some tweaking to be done here, of course. For the race, maybe a little bit less rake to save the rear tires a little bit. But that being said, I'll leave you off with a hot lap, and I'll see you on the next one.